Hi guys, today I'm in Xiamen in China to visit the LightCarbon headquarters, a company that I met in Eurobike 2025, and I bought their new LCR 18 frame immediately and built it up and ridden about 500 kilometers so far. And let's see, we go now in the fourth floor there, you can maybe see the logo.
Hello, Stefan. Welcome to China. Welcome to LightCarbon. Take a seat, please.
Thanks. So, Gavin, LightCarbon. Let's talk about the origin of the company. Like, when was founded? Is it from here, from Xiamen here, or what's the story here?
Yeah. So, LightCarbon was founded in 2012. So, at the time, actually, the beginning it was in another city, but at that time we were quite small and. Because Johnny is our founder Johnny, his hometown is here in Fujian province, and Xiamen is near his hometown. So in 2016, he decided to go back to Xiamen city, and at that time, that 2016 is the year that we start to use our trademark LightCarbon. Before, we are just a Chinese name, because before that we do not do the sales overseas. So in 2016, we start to use our trademark LightCarbon, and at that time we built our website lightcarbon.com, and then we start to sell our products overseas.
You started with the wheels first or with the frames first? What was your first production?
Frame first. We are more focused on carbon frame side. So frame side including frame fork, seat post, handlebars. These are the main products we were focused on. In 2019, we invest a carbon ring factory, and then we start another wheel or ring brand called ProX. ProX is our ring, which was started on 2019. Yeah.
Why is the difference between like ProX wheel brand and frame brand?
Yes, so we like to keep them separate, LightCarbon for the frame brand and ProX for the wheel brands. Nowadays, I think it is quite common that brands that have sub-brands or different brands for frame side, wheel sides. For example, Specialized, they have Specialized as works for frames, and for wheel, they use Rovo, you know. And also, in turn, some people will say, oh, LightCarbon, maybe the name is too long, so ProX is short.
Yeah,
sometimes it may be easier, maybe easier to do the decals for the wheel. Maybe that is also a factor we will consider. Yeah, so yes, then we are going to make in separate brands, and have two brands to be operated relatively more independently, but they all belong to LightCarbon. Then
we met at Eurobike 2025, and then I saw your new frame, the LCR 18 from 2025. And immediately bought it, built it together, and also already ridden about like maybe 500 kilometers with it, and I really like it so far. Also design, I think, is really interesting. So my question is like what goes into developing this kind of frame? How long is like your development process, or what's your development process in general for this kind of frame?
When we are designing a new frame, more time that it takes in the design phase. So we need to. So first of all, let's say for example, this model LCR 18. At that time, in previous we have LCR 70, which is a super light model, and also is more racing oriented geometry. But we already have a lot of racing geometry, and actually in the market there are a lot of racing road bikes. But generally the options for endurance geometry is not that much in the market. So we are considering, and also as you know, our website, our LightCarbon website, we have a lot of traffic, and we got a lot of inquiries every day. We have already got some requests or suggestions from different customers. Hey, do you have endurance frames? Or do you have plan to make an endurance frame? So at the beginning, if there are just a few people talk, maybe a few years ago, I think maybe it is not time. But in the past 2 years, we got more and more inquiries about this category. Then we think, okay, maybe it is time that we make one. So we are then the next stage is we try to collect the information that we can find. What is a good endurance frames in the market already, and we try to see different models and to see their design advantages, and also we will check their geometry, and then our engineer will analyze, and then we consider what is try to combine some of their good points to combine in our frame, but we are not doing a simple duplicate. You can see this, this frame is not exactly same as it. We never do something copy just to learn. We need to learn. Everyone needs to learn from those big brands, learn from those better design, and then we combine to make this frame. When the time this sample is ready, I think it takes something like 1 year. But if you are a brand and you have already your own design, something you want, so for example, I want to geometry something like this, and I want tube shape something like this, and can you make me a frame? So the generally procedure is we make a 2D drawing and send to customer for confirmation. Once 2D drawing confirmed, and then we start to make a 3D drawing. And the next stage we build the mold. And after the mold complete, we make a 3D print to check all details in real life and to see if everything works. In case not, we slightly modify in the 3D drawing. Then we build the mold, and then we produce the sample. Then we test sample. After our test all passed, we will make new samples and ship to customers they will do test run to do final confirmation. And once all confirmed, we start mass production. This is a general procedure. So, for example, if you have very, what exactly you want, you have made data for the geometry or something. Generally, this phase should only take something like 3 months from you provide the main information to us to the time we make you the sample, 3 months.
So also like the other innovations I see a lot, like on the gravel frames you have a lot of like suspensions, which I never see on other frames, like the micro suspension on the other one and the triangle suspension allow the downtube storage. Mainly you listen for customer feedback to get these ideas, or where you get these ideas from?
As I mentioned, Johnny, he was already in the carbon bicycle industry for more than 20 years, and he has a lot of friends who are also engineers, and also we are learn from each other. So for sometimes he will travel around in China to different factories and visit his old friends and see what they make, or what kind of frames they are making, or what new design they have. We will learn from each other. This is one point. And also on the other hand, we will also learn from the internet. Maybe we will check what's the big brands are making. So what is big brands specialists are making? What new products Scott or Kenyon what they are making, and we will check their new design to see what is a good idea for our next new bike. And then we will collect, as I said, we are combine something we think could be good, and then we make something. But as I said, we are not make a single copy. we have got some good ideas, and then make some more innovation, and we have to make it our own. So we already sell a lot of, we have a hot sale model 71 people which have already been sold for several years, and we have received many good feedback from our customers. But some would say, maybe you consider to add a suspension to your gravel frame or something like this, and we could consider maybe adding for gravel frame, due to the off-road condition, maybe adding suspension, it could be a good idea. But we also noticed that because we also make full suspension mountain bikes, we know for full suspension system, we are significantly add the weight due to the linkage and the bearings. It should still add a lot of weight on the frame. So we think it could be better that we just add a micro suspension system, because gravel frame generally you are not jump as high as mountain bikes do. So micro should be fine. So we are considering something like this. Regarding what you ask is Downstube storage. This is maybe also a relatively earlier design in China. Also, as I said, we got a lot of feedback, and we really listen to our customers' feedback. People said, hey, maybe the bike looks more clean if we can store something we have storage in the frame downtube, because in mountain bikes, something like a Santa Cruz, they already have the downtube storage design or something similar. And we think we can also make something similar in gravel frame. So we start to our engineers start to analyze and to work on system that should work for the such downtube storage, and also even for Downstube storage, it's not that simple. Huh? I believe you have already opened it because it looks just a cover, but the mechanism, how to make how it works, the structure and how to make a better combine with the carbon frame edge is also a challenge. So this is not that easy. We spend a lot of time and do a lot of trial and errors, try to improve it.
But of course, with so many innovation like the suspension, the Downstube storage, you also have like maybe some feedback process where you cause like some things will not work the first time, or you will get like complaints. For example, in my bike, I had the problem that I install it and then I go over a gravel road and then it's open and then the whole thing went away. So and then I find out I have to talk this one here a little bit. But Wendy already told me there's an updated version for this storage.
So I think this is the new one. Just some small changes for first, because previous one it was one complete, which is heavier, and for road bikes, people are trying to save a few grams. So we make this shape to make it slightly lighter, and also we add you can see this is soft, soft material to make it to avoid ratting issues. And also for this one, we are trying to make something like a shape here. So when you pull your handle to here, we try to make it to lock here, not easy to be loosened again. Really listen to customers' suggestion as well as complaint, and then we see what it can improve in the design.
So before you mentioned like you watch the competition, like but this kind of frames, they are much more expensive than your frames, like not twice, like 4 times I think, or something like this. Is there any like quality difference in your opinion between this kind of frame from like an SL8 or something and your factory? Because like I think your price is quite competitive. It's very good price. Or is it just like the high price from the big brands? Is there more quality control or more design involved, which makes this price worth? Or is this just marketing? What do you think?
If you ask if there is some difference between our frame and specialized those big brands, I would say yes, definitely, because if people are not stupid to pay a lot of a higher cost for those big brands. But I think this is all about trade-off or choice, because when you buy a frame, first of all you should know what's your budget, because not all people want to spend too much money in your bike. Or maybe your wife does not agree. So people need to do a trade-off. So what's your budget for a bike, and what's your budget for a frame? From cost aspect, and also from the cost side, if we say something like this, in our opinion, for a carbon frame side, like a frame side that we are talking frame fork post handlebars, something like this, for pieces, something like this. In our opinion, if the cost is less than $500, we don't believe they can make high quality, because the costs are there. So I think this is not feasible to make very high quality frame side under $500. That is from the cost aspect that I would say. And also, if it is over 1,000, the frame size, if it is also a regular ordinary Chinese brand, and not those specialized big brands, if it is over 1,000, we believe it is overcharged in our opinion. I mean, from cost aspect, because we know the cost, what the cost should be. And the name between the 500 and 1,000, this is something normal price range, and this is something that we really need to spend your time to select what is good or what is suitable for you. In LightCarbon, our positioning is our goal, or we are trying to make our frames as our quality as good as those big brands. So maybe I will not say 100% because that is not feasible, but I would say we will try to make something like maybe 70 or 80%, or even to 90% as high quality as theirs, but we will sell the price only maybe 30% or 40% of theirs, and this will make our cost effective. And this is our goal, to make something like this. Yeah. So we are still try to make as close as to those brands as we can, but still we are keeping the price as far from as those from what we can, and to make our price more competitive. And as I said, in China you can buy very cheap carbon frames and also very expensive. Now we also see some brands, they are saying very high express. Maybe they have their own strategy. We do not say their frames are good or not. Maybe different brands have different strategy. But in our opinion, we think that we will more focus on the price range, something from 500 to 1,000. This price range, we think it is more competitive, and also it is more safe, because if you are buying very cheap carbon frames under 500 or something, maybe I would say maybe it also depends on your luck. Sometimes you are fine with it, but sometimes you broke your leg. That could be possible.
So the frames under $500, like you think they save on QC, of course, I think maybe, or like what's like how do they even make it like this cheap? You have to still pay the material and the molds and stuff like this.
So there are a lot of parts regarding cost, from material, labor cost, and also the QC inspection. There are also labor costs, and also testing or something, and also packing, something like this. So first of all, regarding material, so as I said, for those under 500 frames, maybe they have to use some, I think it is not very good material, because we are using Toray carbon fiber. Maybe they are using some Chinese made or other unknown carbon fiber frames, and some very cheap frames, they even use the fiberglass. So I was saying very cheap frames, that could be possible. So that's have huge cost difference here, because for example, for 1 square out of Toray carbon fiber, 1 square meter, something like this, maybe they have, for example, they have a cost 20 or 30 US dollars per square, something like this, for example, just an example. And some the cheap Chinese carbon fiber maybe just supply in something like 10 or even less, or $5. So they can be 5 or 30 US dollars 1 square meter. And in a frame, typically I think we use something like more than 10 square meter in your frame, all the materials. So you can see the cost difference here, a lot. And the second stage is in quality control. This is also very important aspect. For example, when a frame that we spend 2 hours to make one frame, we are not quite hurry. You can imagine that one of factories, if they want to make a lot, they have a lot of people very, very fast, and just to get it made, and but they do not have enough time, or they do not want to spend too much time to inspect every details, because time is money. Their labor costs will increase. So we can see a lot of factories, they have very large production capacity. They make a lot of frames, but they do not have enough time to check every frame. So some maybe just have a simple look, hey, it's no crack, or no holes, oh, hey, it's fine. And in our factory, we will inspect every frame, each of frames. And this is also very important. This means much higher in the labor cost, because we are people, we have to pay. For example, if they inspect 10 frames per day, if they inspect 50 frames per day, the cost difference are quite different here. So they have to check every details, something like this. So the labor cost. And another part is regarding testing, because for some Chinese carbon frame manufacturers, many they do not do testing, or they do just very simple or some basic testing or something like this, just to make sure it does not crack or something. But in LightCarbon factory, we do all the testings basically according to the ISO for 4210. And for e-bikes, we also do something like the high standard, which is called the EN 15194. So these are different test standards. All are, because most of our company are sold to European and American markets, so we have to follow the Western standards. So we have to see what's the requirements of their standard. We test based on those standards one by one. We not ignore any variance. And normally, and we are doing even higher, even strict testing. For example, if the standard says that the stiffness should be 40, should be good, and then we should try to make it 50 or 60. So we should make sure our frames have more surplus or have the more safety margin over the standards. This is what we are really focused on. So try to minimize the potential after-sale issues. That is what we are doing, and this is also means cost. And next is in terms of packing. I don't know if you have seen, there are a lot of, in the international transportation, there are a lot of possibility that frame may get damaged because the box are squeezed or something like this. But in LightCarbon, we spend a lot of time in packing, especially the inner packing, especially wrapping the tubes. They really make difference, because if the materials are thin or thinner, and if the whole tubes or each tubes are wrapped, they also make big difference in the time that we cost in the labor, and also the possibility that it damage in the shipping. Even though we cannot guarantee that 100% are not damaged, because some courier or some shipping company, they are very they can just throw the box or something. Sometimes it could still happen, but I would say our percentage of the damage is quite low.
If I have this kind of claim, I think it's you try to make everything good, make the stiffness very high, but still happen a problem. And I get that in Germany it's so long, like 14 days. What's the process for me as a customer?
Generally, the percentage is very low in case you are unlucky, and sometimes during shipping, some very heavy box are compress our frame. Sometimes because you are stone or something, it cannot sit there. So it could be the damage could still happens. So in case that issue happens, first of all, we will need your help to take a picture of the frame box, so the outside box, and also that should be provided to us within 3 days since the box are signed for. So the pictures of frame, and it's also the picture of the box and the picture of the frame where it was damaged. So we need to report to the shipping company. So at the same time, so in the one hand, we are trying to make a claim to the shipping company, and we try to ask for compensation or something. And on the other hand, we are deal with customers immediately. Maybe there are different cases. For example, you got a frame, it's just a small scratch on the frame. We are talking with you. Hey, is it acceptable if you give you a discount, something like a 30 or 50 US dollars, something like this? We will discuss with you, negotiate, because I don't know if you accept, because just small sketch or something, and you get some small discount. Maybe for some people, maybe it's fine. If it is related to the strength, for example, if it is cracked or something, then we are not negotiate. We just make a new frame and ship to you. Yes.
Some companies like Western brands, they have like a crash replacement, like this kind of thing. Like
regarding crash replacement, or even some brands offer lifetime warranty. I think this is something similar, because they have much higher cost, higher price to cover all of these costs. So in LightCarbon, we do not have specific warranty replacement, but in case, for example, this frame that you bought is not that too long, just a few months or something, we can try to offer you some discount when you buy a new frame.
So this next one is really interesting for me as a German, especially I'm from Frankfurt. The Eurobike, the German Cycling Industry Association, they said, for us as an industry, we don't recommend our partners, our shops to go to a Eurobike because it does not fit the bill anymore. It's too expensive. There's the audience is less than before the pandemic, so we recommend, we should not go there anymore. But for you as LightCarbon, what's your opinion about Eurobike? Do you see value in the Eurobike? What's your summary about your visit this year?
Because LightCarbon has attended Eurobike since 2016, we were there almost every year, except those 3 years during COVID. So from what we see, it is true that the visitors in Eurobike is getting less compared to the early years. So I think maybe partly because due to the market is falling down. Even though we still been there every year, because to be frankly, in early years, 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, we were losing money in Eurobike. We spent a lot to pay the booths, and we also have our personnel costs. But because we were there every year, so till last year, 2025, maybe more and more people recognize, they will see, oh, LightCarbon is still here this year. This company has survived for several years. Maybe this is a reliable supplier that we can consider. We are not need to worry that they will disappear next year. So now we are getting more and more customers, getting more and more contacts during and after Eurobike. So the result is better than previous years. So in terms of Eurobike 2025, I think the new orders, new customer that we receive now has already covered the cost that we spend in Eurobike. So for us, the result in 2025 is good. So we are surely go to again in 2026.
So yeah, next year, 2026, and Eurobike 2026. Can you give us any hint about some new developments that you have in the pipeline? Some new frames or like any kind of thing that will come?
Maybe at this stage is a little bit too early to reveal what we are going to exhibit in Eurobike. Otherwise, people will not see it is not fresh anymore. Yes. But anyway, you are already here, so have a long travel to China.
It's just between us. There's nobody here.
Okay, I think we can just give you one example maybe. So you can see for this frame, generally you may see it have something similar as the LCR18. There's something like the Eagle Eye. It is. It could be something our design language. Maybe we say it, and you can see even in the eyes we have make these details slightly different, so the air can better flow here, something like this. So yeah, so the detail refined. And this model, we position it as aero racing gravel. So you can see, in terms of the tube shape, it's aero. Okay, it's aero tube shape. Okay, and then in terms of the geometry, it is more close to a road frame. So it's the aero racing gravel frame. This is what we are making for 2026, and also it will actually appear in Eurobike. Okay, but we do not want to reveal too early because we have a lot of traffic of our website, and we got a lot of inquiries every day. They will ask, when can we get this frame? Or that's we are tired to answer those questions. Okay. Some customer also ask, why don't you put the LCR18 on your website? I think this is something similar because our current production capacity for this model is still not too much. And if we put it on our website, there are too many inquiries, too many orders, we cannot deliver at this stage. So maybe in early 2026, we will put the LCR18 on our website because at that time we have more stock so that we can deliver faster.
So just like one general question, like how do you see the trend in the industry, like the next maybe 5 years? Is there any potential for the carbon frame to be improved, or is it finished already, or do you see some potential for improvement?
During the past 3 years or even 5 years, because when we see all kind of new frames in exhibitions, I would say that maybe the industry have met the bottleneck. So when you see the new SL8, SL7, maybe you do not see a lot of difference, or maybe you cannot see there are much difference than the previous version. So I would say maybe that is the bottleneck maybe for the whole industry, because carbon material to some degree has close to its limit. So we think it's not easy to make something really different or make something to a new level or something. Maybe it will be a trend that more and more frames are designed to be for the electronic groove side only, because nowadays generally the cost of the Di2 or wireless groove side are falling down. The costs are falling down. More and more people are using those. Maybe for some new models, or especially for those brands, they are positioning their bikes to be high end. Maybe they will only make for Di2 or maybe wireless groove side. And the gravel frames, I think we try to make breakthrough is as what you've seen, we add Downstube storage and add micro suspension to make it more comfort. I think this is something maybe can improve. But even though we do not see a lot of innovation can be improved here, maybe to refine the details. But we really think that something can be quite different is in the e-bike, because if something that related to electronic, it can be upgraded much sooner and more significantly. In terms of e-bike, especially, we believe that the DJI could be getting even more popular. Now, some people, even very famous YouTubers, they already test and they will say they are quite advanced compared to the traditional motor brand. Bafang, Shimano, Bosch. What we get from their feedback on the YouTube, most reviews give very high comments regarding DJI engine. There will be more carbon frames trying to design to fit DJI frame. And also one information for you, LightCarbon is also have already completed the 3D drawing of a new EMTB for DJI. Could also be available in 2026. And then now we are trying to negotiating with some brands to see if who want to cooperate with us in developing DJI EMTB together.
Europe is an important market for you. Is there like one or two countries which are even more important for you? Like what's your main customers come from?
So according to our sales volume, I would say if compared to all the markets, Germany actually is the biggest market for us now. Because I would say our sales record, Germany is the biggest one. I don't know, maybe it's due to Eurobike. I'm not sure.
And what's like the most popular models? Is it still the 17 UCI, or is it like the gravel bikes, which is like really selling well?
2024, LCR 17 is the most popular model, but after the Eurobike in 2025, LCR 18 has become the most popular one because generally people would like a new design, and also in the markets there are already a lot of racing road bikes, but not too much options regarding endurance road bikes. So LCR 18 is now the bestseller this year.
So after the interview, now we are visiting the factory from LightCarbon, and we are outside here in the Tong'an district of Xiamen, and they will show us how the bikes are made. First he showed us the cold storage of the carbon fibers. As you can see, they are labeled Toray carbon fiber on the package.
Generally the temperature control here is something around 3 degrees.
They are kept in the cold storage at about 3 degrees until their intended use 1 day before they are taken out to get used to the room temperature. So here we see like the print sheet for the 17 frame for 58 size, and see how all the pieces, like we need 2 parts of this. For all the carbon pieces we need to print and cut. The worker cuts the pieces with this machine and collects them into stacks of the same sizes.
Okay, and you can see in the...
It's a lot.
It's only for one size of the handlebar.
For one size of the handlebar.
Only one size.
And then we see the latex inlays for the handlebars. After the carbon sheets are layered on them, they are filled with pressured gas during the mold process, and they press the sheets into the mold.
This this is something like the material that needed for one frame. Okay, so one frame.
One frame.
They come in different, something like a package, so a case, something like this.
The workers then glue the sheets according to the layer plan onto the inlay. A manual process that takes about 2 hours per frame of manual labor. The wrap carbon is finished now. Now the wrap piece is put into a mold of the same frame size. So each frame size needs a separate mold, which costs anything up to $20,000. The latex molds are connected with the hoses so the pressured air can press the sheets into the mold and compress out air bubbles later during the curing process. The autoclave will then cure the frame with a defined pressure and temperature for several hours. While this frame is curing, the workers pull out another finished set of carbon forks here. On the finished front triangle, another pair of workers drill all the bottle holder screw holes and they machine the bottom bracket. The front triangle is glued with 3000K carbon fiber patches to the rear triangles and afterwards cured again. After the second curing, they are now ready for the first quality control inspection.
This is the main process of our
quality control.
So main process and
The QC process is the same for all frames that leaves this factory. The workers checks the steps, he notes all the measurements and put it into a datasheet and signs off the QC. So defects later can be traced back. And then get the QC1. And then it gets the QC1 passed sticker. Coloring of the frames is done externally by a different supplier. Greetings to the owner of the cryogenics frame here with an awesome red color scheme. This worker does a final QC before the shipping. He checks again the bottom bracket threads and adds finishing touches. We then moved into a different part of the building for the ISO tests. Here we could only film a couple of angles and there were well-known World Tour brands in the same room doing the same tests at the same time. Like the stiffness test that puts 20 newtons on the fork to measure sideway twists. Or the falling mass test with 22 kgs. And that's it for today. Big thanks to Gavin, Wendy and Johnny for taking the time for the interview and also showing me around the factory. Being so frank and transparent was really, really nice to see. And if you like their work, then please visit their website, check out their models, maybe shoot them an email if you want to order like a frame set or wheel set. Otherwise, if you also like this video, then of course please like and subscribe. This will help me grow the channel and later get more access to this kind of factories and interviews here in China for the next time. Until then, I wish you a nice rides and nice weather like here in Xiamen. See you soon.